Hey, Dr. Harmon, take over.
Well, thank you for that introduction. I appreciate that. We have a doctor's call today, and there are probably a lot of doctors on the line. So I'm going to address you, healthcare providers, today, and because I know the mindset, and I feel like we've developed a system where all of those fears that you might have, it's a network marketing, how am I going to implement that into my practice? We have that all out of the way. So before I do that, I do want to confirm what Savvy said. I literally saw the big picture as soon as he told me what it was. And so we got to work. And this shutdown, the quarantine was no respecter of income, business person, everybody was shut down. We were shut down for 2 months. And I want to tell you, doctors, it looks really smart to have a second gig going on. Surgeons who are out of their, who could not work for elective surgery, orthopedic surgeons, you think it would have been pretty good for them to have a side gig? I think you're right. And so I saw that and I said, you know what, I'm 65 years old. I don't have a side gig. I have this clinic. And so we went to work, and yeah, we got a lot of people, but you know what? All we did is follow the system. The system really, truly works. And so doctors who are on this call, I know one of the first things you're thinking about when somebody introduces you to something new, whether it's a therapy machine, a product, you're thinking, how am I going to implement this both ethically and time-wise? How am I going to talk to people about it? And the great thing is also, you also have ethics, and so you don't want to just randomly recommend something that really truly isn't pertinent or important for them in their health. So if you can imagine, you don't say anything during your visit. They came in for something else. You don't want to hijack them with some new product, particularly a network marketing product, because we all have a little bit of those preconceived ideas about that. So at the end of your visit, this is what you do. You say, by the way, as you're walking out of the door, by the way, Susie, what do you know about stem cells? And they answer, and you say, go see Sally out front. She has some free samples of some stem cell activation patches. Doctor, that took you 10 to 20 seconds.
10 seconds.
Your staff takes over. We have it down to a science. Your staff takes over. They have some patches in an envelope. They explain to those people how to apply them, what they do. If you do that, you will have an avalanche of patients coming in and wanting to get on auto ship or become part of your team. Because here's the other thing. A lot of them were laid off. I don't know if it's 30 million or 60 million. I don't watch the news anymore. I don't know how many people lost their jobs for a while, but they need some extra income, and you need to help their health. There's nothing that is more to the core of health than stem cells. You can honestly feel good about recommending them to every single patient because the aging process marches on without any respect to person or age. It goes on. And so stem cells can become anything, so they can potentially help anything. So doctor, when your patients come to you, they are going to benefit by using this X39 patch. That's my contribution to this, is that we developed a way for doctors to get out of the way with preconceived ideas about network marketing or how am I going to implement this, and we have it down to a science. We can train your staff for you so that you don't have to take the time away from seeing those patients that you care so much about. We are attracting a group of people who have big hearts, and sometimes, you can probably relate to this, doctors. You would give it away for free if you could. Your staff has to tell you, stop giving stuff away for free, doctor. You have to charge these people. I heard that so many times. So we can help you do that. That's my contribution for the day. That's all I got about that. I want to introduce you to the main events. There's two of them coming up. The main events. I have so much respect for Dr. Michael Karlfeldt. We've become very good friends over the last 4 years since I've been inside of their clinic. But he is owner of the Karlfeldt Center. He happens to be a descendant of one of the kings of Sweden. Sorry, Michael, I had to get that in. King Gustav. The Karlfeldt Center is one of the premier integrative health centers in Idaho. He is a sought-after lecturer, presenter. He's a writer. He's an educator. He also has the popular TV show called True.Health on Prime, Amazon Prime. You can find that True.Health. He is also the host of a radio talk show called Health Made Radio and Podcast. His previous show, the Dr. Michael Show, and this is when I was in competition with him. I got tired of patients coming in and saying, "Did you hear about the Dr. Michael Show? He told this and did this and said this," and I'm doing some of the same things he was doing. So we're not in competition. We're great friends now. His show aired over 100 episodes on local channels. So, Dr. Michael Karlfeldt, my good friend, are you there?
I'm here. It's such a pleasure to hang with such cool people like you guys. It's my pleasure.
Well, I wanted you to, first of all, I know you had a personal experience. Could you tell us what happened and what motivated you to actually say yes to the stem cell activation patches?
Well, one of the things is that I've been in stem cell research and done stem cell therapy for quite some time, and it's something that I'm very aware of the benefits of. And anytime I bring anything that is quite new and different, I always want to try it on my wife, just because she's a perfect guinea pig. That's how loving and caring I am. So the issue, I mean, she's been dealing with an autoimmune condition. Before I met her, she has a condition called polyarteritis nodosa, which in essence, if not treated, it is she will die after a few years. So she came to me, and she was in a pretty bad spot. You know, she wasn't able to really hold on to a toothbrush. She was in severe pain, not able to really walk well and wiggle toes and so forth. So she's come through a lot. She's come a far way, and we've done a lot of different therapies, and she's still dealing with pain. There's certain issues, certain areas that she really needs help, and so I put these patches on, these stem cell activation patches on, just to kind of see what works, because she's a fast responder. You know, if you put it on somebody like me that already feel good, I may not feel that much, but she's a fast responder. And her pain went away, and she felt great with those with the stem cell patches. Her mind cleared up. You know, when she gets in that much pain, her brain gets really foggy. It's hard for her, because it gets so consumed trying to process the pain. But it just cleared up, and she felt great. So that was the X39 patches, and then also we tried the pain patches as well. And she had a spot that needed a little extra help, and it just cleared it right up. In fact, she was doing so well with the pain patches that we were walking around, all over town, and she came home and her feet were swollen and beaten up because we'd been walking so much, and because she hadn't felt pain. So it's really incredible what they do.
Yeah, thank you for that. I'd heard bits and pieces of that, but it's good to hear the full story. So, Dr. Karlfeldt, could you? I know that Dr. Smith does the stem cell injections in the office. Could you kind of compare and contrast stem cell injections with these stem cell activation patches, the X39?
Yeah, absolutely. So stem cell injections, you can then you inject in a group of stem cells into the location wherever it is, if you're looking at a joint or some ligament tissue, or we even do intravenously if you have somebody dealing with like MS or systematic pain all over where you need that strong regeneration. And obviously that is pretty expensive. What is cool with the patches is that in addition to being extremely affordable, they work very, very fast. I mean, we put them on and people start to respond quite quickly. So you see that immediate response, and what it does is that it really turns on that production. So you may not be introducing stem cells into the body, but you have a lot of these what's called mesenchymal stem cells, and they kind of hang out along actually the outer lining of blood vessels, and they're just kind of hanging out, sleeping there. And it helps to activate these patches or activate these stem cells, and then also turn on the production of more of these stem cells, so you can really and they tend to gravitate towards the location of inflammation. So wherever you have then tissue damage or where you need repair, the way the body signals that is with inflammation. So these patches will then support in the production of these stem cells and activate the sleeping one, and then also the inflammatory process will drive them to the location where they're needed. So it's been really cool to see the impact on people so far.
Thank you very much. Could you also give a couple of examples of some of your patients? Because we know the X39 works, and the ways that it does so is so far-reaching, and there's such a variety of things. Can you give us a couple of examples, Dr. Karlfeldt?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have one gentleman, for instance, he's dealing with severe Parkinson's. And a little disclaimer is that when we get with these products and we fall in love with the products, we become we try to find people that are sick everywhere and we want to cure them. And the key is that reality is that we want to just support the body's own healing mechanism, and that's the amazing thing with these patches. So to kind of try to hunt down people with diseases all the time, that's not always the solution. You always want to you want to look at the preventative aspect as well. If you address things before it happens, that's even better. But here we have then a gentleman that's pretty severe off. He's in wheelchair. Cannot speak very clearly. Cannot not a lot of motility in his hands. So the Parkinson's fairly far gone. And the patches just right after using the patch, he's able to communicate. You have a clear look. He's able to. He has stronger arms. Better arm strength. Also, when he stands up out of his wheelchair, he's more sure-footed. So these are changes that we are seeing, and with stem cells, obviously, things happen over time. It's not like you take a pharmaceutical and you're creating an immediate change because it's symptom management. Here you're doing repair, so that takes a longer period of time. So he had a tremendous result in that way. And then also in regards to the sleep patch, you have patients that have not been able to sleep at all, and we've tried all different things, and melatonin, valerian, GABA, 5-HTP, you name it. They tried it, and the sleep patch really just kind of changed the night for them, and that is so huge because that impacts the rest of their day, how they function the rest of the day, with energy, and also their tissue repair while they're sleeping. Also for weight loss, it's huge. That's when you lose weight while you're sleeping. So that has been quite dramatic. Pain patch, you had patients with severe headaches. You put that on and it disappears in just a couple of minutes. I've had one of our staff members, extreme pain, and a couple of minutes it was gone. So it is that's kind of the rewarding part of these patches, is that there's such a quick response. Doesn't mean that it always happens, but it happens quite frequently, and not meaning that they don't work because you don't get a quick response. It just does it more than other things, which is really cool.
Thank you so much, Dr. Karlfeldt. On behalf of the 6 pages of people who have tuned in today, I just want to thank you. Our relationship there in the office, it has been so good for so long, and it's just really fun to be working with you in this side gig. I'm sure everybody got a lot out of what you said, and I appreciate that. And I know you have a patient. We know we scheduled this just kind of in between, so we'll talk to you later. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. And now I'd like to introduce you to another naturopathic physician who is located in a city right next to Meridian, Idaho, where we are, which is right next to Boise. And my first experience with Dr. Paul Shmillen, and I apologize for spelling your name wrong, Dr. Shmillen. I put S-C-H-M-E, and it's not that. That's on me. When I first went in to talk to him after Savvy had talked to him, here's a guy who wanted to rule out the placebo effect with these patches. He just got the patches, and with his patients, he didn't tell them anything. He didn't say what it was for. He didn't put it in any particular, in the normal spots that we are taught, but he's very knowledgeable about radionics and acupuncture. So he knew the person's specific problem, and you'll have to tell it correctly if I'm telling it wrong in just a minute, Dr. Shmillen. He just put a patch on him and didn't say anything. He just wear this, and he told him for 24 hours because he didn't know it was 12 on, 12 off. And I'll let him tell the story, but this is a doctor who has been studying and learning from some of the world's greatest teachers, and he does a really broad spectrum form of healthcare there in Nampa, and since 2001. So I would like to have everybody do the jazz hands for Dr. Paul Shmillen. Dr. Shmillen, are you there?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, great. Correct me on anything I got wrong. You didn't give me much to go on your bio, so why don't you just take a minute and tell us a little bit more, and if I got it wrong, correct me.
Well, no, you pretty much got it right. I like to keep things pretty simple and keep it nice and, I guess, simple. When I first heard about the patches, I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't a placebo effect, just because when someone says, oh, it takes away pain, and they're like, well, my pain might be down a little bit. So the first patch I actually put on a patient was an elderly lady that had pretty severe neck and shoulder pain, and she would have to get a chiropractic adjustment every couple of weeks to every month just to maintain the pain. But she would live in just chronic all the time pain. So we put it pretty much one on the right carotid artery, and I was like, just leave it on there for a little bit. And she asked me what it does, and I was like, I have no idea yet. So we're going to find out. And the next day she called me up and she's like, hey, how much are those patches? Because I want them. And I'm like, well, I'll find out and I'll tell you. And so she came in and she bought 3. So that's pretty much how it started with that. And I have a lot of other ones. I don't know how much time you wanted me to.
Could you tell us about 2 or 3 of your patients and what their results have been?
Sure.
Okay.
So that one was probably the first one. Right after that one, I was working with a gentleman, chronic headaches, chronic sleep problems. I had them put it on the thalamus, so pretty much tip of the clavicle where they connect down, thalamus marker point. And I had them do it only in the middle of the night, so sleep on it. And on the third patch, his REM cycling started to change. He was able to fall asleep at around 9 o'clock, and then he would wake up about 5 o'clock, which he was never able to go to sleep until about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And he was like that for years. So just changing the rhythm was able, just by hormone induction, it was able to keep that sleep cycling starting to normalize.
Wow.
Another case, I had a lady that another placebo. I like doing that. It's fun. Another placebo case I wanted to take on. She was having chronic headaches, chronic migraines, and we put it on the right carotid, and within about 20 to 30 minutes, the pain doubled or tripled. And she called back and she's like, man, those horrible migraine. I had to take, I'm going to take some medicine. And I was like, no, I want you to take it off and put it on the left carotid. And put it on the left carotid. And she said within about 1 minute, the pain went completely gone.
Wow. So
the shunt effect of fluid is definitely impressive. So I really like that. I'll tell you an experience I had with myself.
Yes, please do.
All right. So since it got nice and warm, we kicked on our sprinklers, and my main sprinkler valve broke. So I have 6 leads out there, 6 valves. It's an 1.5-inch pipe going to the valves, and it cracked in half. So I was digging it up and started to replace it and shoving it with my left hand. And all of a sudden I felt my bicep tendon roll off with a nice little snap, and some super awesome burning and nerve tingling, nerve pain, and went in the house, and I was like, man, dang, that's going to hurt for a while. And so I put a patch on the bicep tendon, and then I put a patch on the backside on the rotator cuff. Within about an hour, the pain was down about 30%. And in about 4 hours, I had full motion. So if anyone has ever pushed the bicep tendon off, it's usually it's a 3-week deal.
Yeah, it is.
And I've done it multiple times, so I know it's not very fun.
Wow, Dr. Shmillen, you just hit on a variety of things there that every healthcare provider is going to see sometime. And if you have quick answers like that, it really is helpful for people, and they know that you're not trying to string them out or something and keep them coming back for something. We want answers. We want to get right to the crux of the problem. Well, thank you so much for getting on the call, Dr. Shmillen. If you need any help from us, it doesn't sound like you do. We helped you one time, and then you took off, and we see that you're kind of on your own now. But don't hesitate to call us if you need anything. I wanted to speak one more thing to any doctors who are on this call, or any doctors who will see the recording of it. If you kind of put your doctor hat away for just a minute and look at the human side of this, or the deep conviction that you have as a healthcare provider, but also as a person, you will see that the stem cell activation patch can help any patient, and that you shouldn't hesitate at all in recommending to anybody, because they can pretty much help anyone. And the other thing is that there is a system in place, and all you have to do is follow it. Peter, is there anything else that you would like me to touch on
Yes. Dr. Harmon, can you explain to our viewers in your way, how does this patch work and how do you work?
I try to keep it really simple, and everyone should, because people will get discouraged if you use big words. And they'll say, well, they'll make a judgment on doing this business because they don't think they can say those big words. So just keep it really simple. And this is how I always say it. There's a really smart guy. If you say his name, it's going to be, just keep it really simple. There's a really smart guy who started a company, and he figured out if you combine some organic crystals, some amino acids, and some salts into a little patch, and you put that patch on the body, the infrared heat from the body builds up in the patch until it reaches a state where it actually gives off a frequency of light into your body. That light is like turning on the light switch for a little factory that used to be really active when we were kids, and it makes a substance that signals your body to make and release more stem cells. And so you get this all day long release of your own stem cells into your body, not something that's coming from the patch. It's not a transdermal patch. It's just light that goes into your body, triggers your body to do a lot of good things. One of those is making your own new stem cells. What do stem cells do? Stem cells can morph into any type of cell that they need to be. They're going to be attracted to the most inflamed part of your body. So, Mrs. Smith, if you have joint pain that's caused by inflammation, that's caused by your inability to detox your body because your liver's sick, they're probably going to go to your liver first, and you might not notice a huge shift in your pain right off. If you don't, we have another patch that's called a pain patch that we can help you with, but you got to give your body time to heal itself so you can detox, so you're not inflamed, so your joint pain will go away. And that's a pretty good way of explaining to people in advance why they might not get something that's measurable, like my pain went away, or I can bend my knee now, or something like that. Just know, Mrs. Smith, that the stem cells are working, but sometimes they don't go exactly where we think they might, but they are working. Peter, is there anything else?
Last question for you, Dr. Harmon.
Okay.
Where do you see this technology going for yourself, your
group,
the people that you're bringing on, the doctors, between you and Savi? I know that there's a mission behind this. So can you share with our viewers, where do you feel your vision going?
There is, and Savi and I have had discussions about this, as I have with, the head nurse at the Karlfeldt Center. Dr. Karlfeldt's head nurse is a rising star in this too. We've had some discussions. If you think about the ability of stem cells to fix our bodies, the aging process marches on day after day after day. When somebody's asking me, well, do I have to just keep using them? I want to say, are you freaking kidding me? If you can counteract what's happening with the aging process, wouldn't you want to? As far as me and my family, I'm going to use them the rest of my life because, go back to my statement, the aging process marches on. You're either going to age or you're going to do something that's anti-aging. There's nothing that goes more to the core of fixing that part, the aging process, than stem cells. So think about that in the context of Medicare costs. If somebody can fix their pancreas or their liver, then they don't have chronic care for diabetes or liver failure or some. Now, can we make promises about doing that? No, but we can say, let's just keep it healthy and not worry about trying to take care of a diseased organ. So I see it as a way to decrease everybody's costs with Medicare. I mean, I'm on Medicare. We have great insurance without that, so I don't use it. But a lot of people don't, and those costs keep going up. Well, who pays for that? We do, the taxpayer. We pay for that. So that's where I see it going. I can tell you what, if you have any fear, if you have any trepidation of approaching any healthcare provider or any large company that you think would be able to incorporate these in, they're going to thank you. Why would you have fear about approaching someone who's going to thank you for what you did? Dr. Rostenberg, I don't know if you're on here. He was in my clinic when he first got out of school. He sent me a text last night and he said, I just got my in-laws signed up as a silver. And I said, wow, that's a big step. And he said, I truly believe that these patches can help everybody with their health, and I want my family to be healthy. Those were his exact words. Yesterday, I had a Zoom call with my cousin who was on here doing his testimonial. We had a Zoom call with a functional medicine doctor in California. His email was almost like he was consumed. He listed out all of the diseases people came in with yesterday, and he said, my mind was going, I know that these patches can help every single one of those. So these doctors that you approach, the doctors who are on this call, they are going to thank you because their circle of influence grows exponentially, not just with their patients, but the people who then start to share these. So it's a big worldwide view of health where this is going, Peter.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Harmon. This has been an incredible interview. Thank you, Dr. Karlfeldt, Dr. Shmillen.